Hey everyone, it's Gamefruitpulp, and welcome back to another Minecraft Building Toronto episode. In today's video, we're going to be once again taking a look at a historic, newly completed building on our map, although this is one that some of you may have seen us building in one of my live streams. For those who keenly watch my channel, you will know what we are talking about the Royal Alexandra Theatre in the city's entertainment district. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The Royal Alexandra Theatre was a really fun building to do, and I was able to do most of it live with some of you in my newer live stream content on my channel. And my decision to do this building as a live stream was not by accident. The Royal Alexandra Theatre is not only a visually appealing building, but it is also one that is bursting with history, and I can't wait to get into that with you all today. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently in this video than usual, because we're going to start by talking about our experience building the theatre, and then we will get into the historic and architectural details of this building. I built the exterior of this building, and Star was kind enough to do the interior of this building, which is very detailed and a compact interior full of challenges. I was extremely impressed with how Star was able to capture both the details of the theatre as well as the spirit when exact copying wasn't possible because of the scale of Minecraft blocks. I found that this exterior was one of the more enjoyable builds for me to do of late, and I think that this is due to a combination of factors. The first is that it is a style that I don't think I'm very good at, and as a result, I was able to develop myself as a builder. One of the downsides of the Toronto project is that we can only build what is there, and this means that I'm usually building 1970s modern office buildings, especially when I try to fill out the outstanding gaps on the in-progress city blocks. This building was a sharp break from that. The exterior of this building was a challenge to capture detail out of the variety of sandstone blocks available to me, while still capturing the accurate textures and angles of this historic building. It also allowed me to be creative with street side details like the overhang over the door, where I used sculk vein to capture the dotted texture that is in the real world building. The fire escape stairwells on the east and west sides of the building also provided a unique challenge that I haven't had to work with since building the John Street building as part of their anniversary celebration. All in all, I had a ton of fun doing this exterior, and I was happy with the way it turned out. Looking at the interior, Star had a ton of detail to work with, but was also provided with detailed floor plans that allowed him to be accurate and detailed. Doing any interior that is full of detail is always difficult because of the limitations that we face with the size of blocks, but Star was able to capture almost all of the details that would stand out in this theatre, including the accurate locations of where the fire escape doors on the second and third levels of the theatre are. With the completion of this historic build, I can once again turn to one of my favorite sources of information for this project, one of the books that inspired me to start this project in the first place. That book is Toronto Then and Now by Doug Taylor. This book does a great job comparing the historic buildings in the city today to what they were at the time of construction. If you like the history of Toronto as much as I do, I highly recommend checking out this book. I know this kind of sounds like a sponsorship, it's not. I just like crediting the places where I get my information from. So be sure to check out the book if you're interested. The book gives us some great historical information about not only the Royal Alexandra Theatre itself, but also the land on which the theatre was built. At the time of the theatre's construction, King Street was a mixture of residential and business buildings and included the home for the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, which was located between Simcoe and John Street. At the start of the 20th century, a group of businessmen teamed up with the historic philanthropist Cawthra Mulloch to finance the construction of a theatre in this notable neighborhood of the city. The theatre was designed by John M. Lyle, who was the architect of a number of historic buildings we already see on the map, including Union Station and Scotia Plaza's original sandstone building. The theatre opened on August 26, 1907. The book continues and mentions that by the late 1950s, the area surrounding the theatre was no longer the sought-after area it was at the turn of the 20th century. Much of the neighborhood had deteriorated to the point where the theatre was being considered for demolition to create a parking lot. In 1960, Ed Mirvish purchased the theatre and restored it. The reasons that the restoration was possible touches on some of the things that make this theatre historic, not only within the confines of Toronto, but also in looking at the building architecture as a whole. When constructed in 1907, the Royal Alexandra Theatre was built on a steel frame, making it the only fireproof theatre in North America at the time of construction, which set the standard for the future of theatre construction in the continent. The interior of the building includes no pillars, which ensures that no seats within the theatre have an obstructed view. That ends the great historical information I found in Toronto Then and Now, but that does not end the historic information for this theatre. The theatre once again went through a rather significant renovation in 2016, that according to David Mirvish, was done to once more restore and give life to that sparkle and give a level of comfort that will preserve the theatre as our flagship of the 21st century. This renovation had a cost of $2.5 billion and led to a reduction in total seats to improve visitor comfort. Now, let's take a look at some of the more specific details of the theatre itself. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the Royal Alexandra Theatre opened in 1907, and to date is the oldest continuously operating theatre in North America. The theatre has a seating capacity of 1,244, down from the previous capacity of 1,497 before the 2016 renovation. The Royal Alexandra Theatre was designated as a National Historic Site of Canada in 1986. Parks Canada cites the theatre as historic for the following reason. The Royal Alexandra Theatre was designated a National Historic Site because it is a nationally significant example of a theatre which was built specifically for the presentation of live theatrical performances. The page goes further to explain that the Royal Alexandra Theatre is an intimate but lavish version of a traditional 19th century theatre, built exclusively for live theatrical performances. Designed by noted Toronto architect John M. Lyle, who lived from 1872 to 1945, who had worked in a theatre design in New York, the Royal Alexandra was a direct importation of a small, lavish, more intimate type of the theatre being built in New York. Its design allowed a relatively large number of seats in a deceptively small space. The Royal Alexandra Theatre was one of the last theatres of its type built in Canada, and likely the best surviving example. Since its rescue and rejuvenation by Ed Mirvish in 1963, the Royal Alexandra has played a central role in the social and cultural life of Toronto. Its Beaux Arts style continues to provide an elegant setting for theatrical and musical events. That was a ton of information about a relatively small building, but one that I'm sure, as many of you now know, is a vastly important building in our project and in the city of Toronto as a whole. It is also worth noting that not only is the Royal Alexandra Theatre completed, but also this block as a whole. This block has many interesting small details that are worth exploring as a visitor. There's a quest, as well as a detailed restaurant on the block. If you want to explore the map for yourself, you can do so with a Minecraft Java account, as our map is hosted on a public server. The IP to join the map is BuildingTO.ca. That is going to be everything for this video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you're looking to watch more Building Toronto content, you can check out the playlist with all of my previous videos on the project. If you're a new viewer and you enjoyed, be sure to hit that subscribe button to catch future content on the channel. Additionally, if you're a returning viewer and you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like on the video and share the channel with your friends. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate all the ongoing support on the project, as it motivates not only me, but the team as a whole to keep working away on our map. Thank you again for watching. This has been a Minecraft Building Toronto episode. My name is Gamefruitpulp, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.